talk about your experience. And I'll straight up say I haven't used it anywhere near as much as Ewok, but somebody wanted to talk about OX Coast, how much you've used it, Ewok, and what your experience has been. I know you've used it, and I'm pretty sure you've liked it. I know other people have as well. Yeah, tell me a little bit about your experience with OX Coast.
Well, it's been good. I've used it a couple times, at least a handful anyway. Each time, there is like a 6 or 7 minute wait, I think, from the time you click the button until your Coast tokens actually show up. So don't get freaked out like I did the first time. I was like, hey, what happened? Where did it go? Why is it not doing anything? There is a clearing process, but it's been smooth. Just do small transactions to start till you get used to it. And when you again, it goes back to the weight token. Your percentage is down to like 1%. If you, I'm sure the weight token, I haven't even looked at the price of that lately. But at one point, what was it, 50 or $75 to get 100,000 of those? And to save yourself 3% on the transaction fees, it's a pretty good deal. So, I've had I've had great experience with it. The customer service, those guys there's always somebody in. There's a chat thing at the bottom. If you have problems, you just message them. So customer service has been good. Again, I saw a couple people complaining that their funds got tied up but it was by their own bank. It really had nothing to do with the Coast at all. And this one guy was just being completely unreasonable, posting all kinds of bad stuff.
I saw that.
So, I mean, you're going to have that, right? Somewhere. There's always going to be a bitch boy. But no, I've had great, it's been good. It's been really good. So I don't mind, putting it out there that, it is currently, I think, our only fiat on-ramp right into PulseChain on the blockchain. Now, there are, what was that one site? There's it's like a exchange. It's Changely, maybe, that you can go into PulseChain or somebody.
Change.org?
No. I think it's Changely. Or there's another, there's the GoPulse has one that you can pay with credit card. But as far as going from, bank account in, I'm pretty certain that OX Coast is still the only one. Now, my bank doesn't, so they use Plaid, I think it is. But there are other workarounds for that. My bank didn't block them. At first, they weren't listed on Plaid, so I had to use the other workaround to get it set up. But yeah, it works fine once I was able to do that. So yeah, I like them. I like their customer support. I like everything about it. The platform's pretty smooth. Like I said, there is just a little bit of a hang up though during the processing, the payment, everything like that, till it actually shows up in your account. So don't freak out if it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah, and it is nice to have an option that is onboarding straight into PulseChain, and there's going to be fees with everything that you do. So what I just told people to do now, Coast, I agree from the things I've seen of it and where I've messed around and tested things. I think it's a great product, obviously, and getting you straight onto PulseChain. But keep in mind too, like with everything, and maybe, hey, just principle wise, maybe you don't want to deal with exchanges though. If that's somebody like you, then your value system would align more with like using Coast, even though there's KYC and stuff like that, but it's still not an exchange proper anyway.
There's KYC with all of them, so you're not going to get around that.
Right. But, just keep in mind, like with any kind of onboarding and getting into the ecosystem or getting into PulseChain, you are going to have some barrier of entry that's going to include some fees. So it's just like, Coffee made a great video about that the other day. He talked about a couple, and I looked into them and deemed them not worth my time. But I mean, there are other options that you can get into buy it with a credit card or something like that. Anything that I've ever looked into about buying crypto with a credit card, the fees are astronomically stupid. So I have never done that. But always examine the fees. Like, you never know. I still have been, for the most part, just buying stables, getting them onto an exchange, and then bridging them over into PulseChain. But I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I would say, it depends on the user. How much are you trying to bridge over? What makes sense for you as far as the fees go? That's pretty much
well. And even the bridge fees have been, when the Ethereum fees are up there, it's a little pricey to do that too. So kind of weigh it out, see what's better for you.
Yeah. And I do find, like, if you're on Etherscan looking at the GUI or something like that, the estimation that it gives for bridging is very rarely accurate. Like, I do find the swap amount to be accurate. Like, right now at 32 GUI, it's saying like $23, $22 a swap. Bridging, though, it says $7. I guarantee if I try to bridge to PulseChain right now,
you're looking
it
at
would be
20.
Like, yeah, 15, I was going to say anyway. Yeah, I agree with you. So I don't know where they get that shit, but not accurate in my experience there.